is buried a horse of gold. And buried in this story are the clues that will lead you to that secret place.
Treasure in Search of the Golden Horse. This mythical multimedia puzzle attracted thousands of would-be sleuths from the United States and around the world to solve the ultimate mind-bender and collect on a reward of over $500,000.
Find, link, and follow the clues that hide in each chapter of our tale.
The key to solving the puzzle was to find a solid gold horse, which contained a key for a safe deposit box that had the cash. The problem was the puzzle was so difficult that no one solved it before the 5-year deadline ran out. Treasure was conceived and created by filmmaker Sheldon Renan. He worked with a puzzle and code expert named Dr. Krypton. Together, they cleverly hid clues within the words and pictures of a book, a video cassette, and a laser disc, each of which told the story of a young girl's search for her lost horse. Sheldon came up with the idea while working with Intravision, a video disc company.
They wanted me to do more what I consider boring projects, and I said, I've got some ideas that really could really use the disc to full advantage. And they said, what? And I told them about the idea for Treasure.
In Renan's puzzle, codes were in license plates and maps hidden in the story and background photography. Clues in the story were apparent, but they weren't obvious, and thousands were kept guessing for years. Some contestants ended up in wild goose chases from coast to coast.
One older lady who always referred to herself as the great-grandmother, she made over 12 trips to Utah from Indiana, and then after she came to her treasure site, expended what energy she had left in digging for the golden horse.
She was digging in a spot and it was totally wrong?
Totally wrong, but this wasn't unusual in this contest.
Boyd Jolly worked on the puzzle for years, but he became more fascinated with treasure seekers than the treasure itself. He wrote about their adventures and also published his own theories in Treasure magazine.
What was the reaction when you published your theory that the treasure was actually buried in New Orleans?
People in the New Orleans area and also outsiders descended on the New Orleans city parks with various sort of digging tools, digging for the golden horse. So the city fathers put up signs that said the golden horse is not in this park.
As the years passed, frustration grew, as well as the bills of people who sought treasure in all the wrong places.
Everything led, for me, to San Francisco.
Bob France discovered many of the obscure clues and thought that he knew where the treasure was.
The beer bottles, there was many of them. The colors that are being used, colors are very important. They talk about bridges, major bridges, San Francisco Bridge, Golden Gate Bridge. What better place to hide a golden horse than in the Golden State and hide it in the Golden Gate Park?
How much time did it take you to put all those elements together to get you San Francisco?
A solid 4 years.
Bob was so sure he would find the treasure in San Francisco that he took a trip there.
And I went there prepared with my metal detector and all my notes, and I thought that when I got there it would click and I would be digging, but I didn't physically end up digging.
You could just about pick any location in the United States and arrive at clues from the material in the videotape and the book which would support your favorite place.
It seemed as though the story, Treasure in Search of the Golden Horse, had no ending. 5 years had passed and no one could solve the mystery. Many frustrated treasure seekers claimed that there was no treasure at all. That is, until a Los Angeles district attorney and an FBI agent got together and solved the puzzle.
This is the parchment that, had we gotten there in time, would have explained how to claim the $500,000.
Nick Boone and Tony Castaneda eventually solved the puzzle, but they were 5 months too late. The solution came when they discovered the clues were hidden in codes. As an expert in cracking codes, Nick has used his knowledge to solve some of the biggest crimes for the FBI, including the Alphabet Bomber case. Nick combined his talents with Tony Castaneda, who, as an assistant DA, had plenty of experience in investigations. Together, they uncovered the mystery, but not before taking some wrong turns.
Here in the treasure book, one of the formats for solving the puzzle are Oriental characters on page 32. And these translate to red herring. The top letters are red, top characters. The one on the left is fish, and the one on the right is herring, red herring. And it took me like 2 weeks to get that translation.
When Nick and Tony finally broke the code down, they knew they had the location of the treasure before they ever left home. Treasure was literally buried in the middle of the country in the scenic Rocky Mountains. Tomorrow we will go there with Tony and Nick, and they will reveal how they solved the puzzle.
Find, link, and follow the clues that hide in each chapter of our tale. And you will come to understand this map, for it shows you exactly where to dig.
Although thousands of treasure seekers read the words and pored over the pictures of the book and the film version of Treasure in Search of the Golden Horse, all of them came up dry. And as the rules specified, the horse and the $500,000 prize money went to a charity when the deadline ran out.
When Treasure, this solid gold horse, was dug up by a representative of Big Brothers and Big Sisters of America, it was a bittersweet moment. On the one hand, a reputable organization would put the prize money to good use. On the other hand, a 5-year-old mystery filled with hopes and dreams of a quick fortune went unsolved. It was a frustrating moment for Treasure's seekers as well as its creators.
I feel some personal angst that it wasn't solved in time. On the other hand, they gave it to a really good charity.
Although the puzzle wasn't solved in time, that didn't stop at least 2 of the contestants, FBI agent Nick Boone and Los Angeles prosecutor Tony Castaneda.
Do you remember looking at that map for years and years, Nick, and not knowing exactly what it meant?
They didn't get the gold, but they did get the glory when they solved the puzzle. 5 months after the contest deadline ran out, Nick discovered a tiny clue that was the key to solving the puzzle.
I finally discovered a piece of the map over in the Mr. Maps chapter which did not match the rest of the pieces in the sense that it was the only piece of this globe that turned out to be outside the United States. We knew this thing was buried somewhere in the continental United States. Turns out to be Loch Leven in Scotland.
On Loch Leven was an island on which had been imprisoned a queen. And this queen had communicated in a code.
Using sophisticated decoding techniques and the visual clues provided in the puzzle, they discovered 2 major clues that gave them the location of the site where the Golden Horse had been buried.
After you put the second line of ciphertext through a matrix, it says, try route 24. And that's the whole key to the rabbit card. Try route 24, 24. So basically we were looking for a place that was Tennessee but was not Tennessee on Interstate Route 24. And that turned out to be Tennessee Pass.
The treasure had been buried in Colorado's scenic Rocky Mountains, a site called Tennessee Pass at the Great Continental Divide. But once at this location, there were further clues to follow. We went with Nick and Tony as they retraced their steps.
Come right around here. Right here, about a foot down, is the date. We looked around both monuments. We came to the back of this one and finally brushed away the snow, just like I'm doing right now.
You got the date back.
We were looking for any kind of clue that we could find. And we found this date, 11 June 1980. And when we found this, we knew this was a starting point here at Tennessee Pass.
What is the significance of the date?
In the book, this date is on a gravestone, and it says you must first find your father's grave.
Right.
This is the father's grave. This is the starting point at Tennessee Pass.
With the date as the starting point, Tony and Nick used additional clues from the story, which told them the precise direction to walk. They also deciphered clues right down to the number of steps to take.
We came right up to this point here. We looked up, And here's a site that I've been looking at for 5 years but didn't know what it was. Here, let me show you how it looks. The map is a perspective of these trees. And if you look at it like this, you can see this tree goes off like that. This branch comes up like this. If you get the exact match of the spot, then you can visually see where the X is, and it's right about there.
When they discovered this spot, Nick and Tony had virtually written the last page of a whodunit novel that had taken 5 years and 5 months to read.
Describe the feeling when you finally dug up the piece of paper that proved that you were at the right spot.
Well, I felt a little bit like a pirate going down and pulling up a treasure chest.
Did you wish it was 5 months earlier?
Yeah, that would have been great too. But there was a great amount of satisfaction in finding the spot, even though it was 5 months after May.
What are you going to do with the information that you have?
Probably go on to the next treasure.
She found her treasure. Now you find yours.